Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of our Dakar series with Mr. Neil Hawker. For this episode, we wanted to give people a taste of the realities of Dakar, because we've all seen the stuff on the TV. We've all seen that crash of the bike flying off the dune and going end over end. We've all seen the guys doing the big, beautiful sand dunes, and it looks gorgeous. That's not the whole story, is it, Neil?
It's not. How can you train for Dakar in the UK?
I mean, there is that. This is not Saudi Arabia.
No.
But there's a lot to a day. There's a lot involved. There's an early start, big liaison ride in the morning.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of miles on the stage.
A range of temperatures.
Huge range of temperatures, navigation, eating, and then because you're doing the Motul Originals class, there's the bike prep to consider as well every evening, which we've touched on a few times. But today we're going to kind of try and give you an exact taste of one day out of how many?
13 big days.
So
big
one
days.
day out of 13. So what we're doing today, Neil is going to do 13 times. Some days will be slightly shorter than this. Some days will be actually longer.
Yeah.
And a marathon stage and 48-hour stages.
Yeah,
so some days are worse
chrono
than this.
stages.
This is probably a good estimate.
Yeah, it would be nice to sort of get the message across in the UK, what sort of distances we're doing and how we're going to do it. There's no way we're going to be able to do 800k in a day in the UK.
No. And the way we're going to do this, just for a bit of fun, we're going to kind of go a bit Attenborough wildlife documentary on it. Neil's going to do his thing in the background. I'm going to talk you guys through what he's up to, what time of the day it is, how long he's been riding, how long he's been awake for, and hopefully give you a little bit of an insight into just how gnarly this race is, because nothing short of being there does it justice. And we're going to do our best today. So Neil, it's day 3 of Dakar. You're in bed asleep in your tent. Your alarm's going off in a minute. Cut to the action. Picture the scene. It's 4 a.m. You've just slept in a tent in a desert somewhere or the edge of a city somewhere. You've had 2 big days already. This is, we're saying, day 3 of Dakar. You've sorted all your bike out the night before, got whatever sleep you can, tried to put all the stress and emotion and energies of the race behind you. You've updated your family. Your alarm goes off at 4 a.m. But it's not your alarm only. It's your alarm, the tent next to you's alarm, the other 30 tents within a few square yards. All the alarms are going off, and you're trying to sort of feel alive, and you know you've got a big day ahead of you. You can hear Neil in there now rustling around. So first thing, Neil's, I'm not going to admit him, that's why I'm speaking quietly. Neil's actually really good at this stuff. The admin. So first thing is, out of bed, put all your bike kit on. Don't muck around. Neil's kit bag admin is next level. You'll find that every single item he's got, he lays it in exactly the same place in his kit bag, exactly the same place for his socks, his pants, his underkit, every single night. And that way he's got one less thing to think about before he's even got out the tent. So the alarm goes off. Neil was telling us at the last Dakar he did, there was a big Slovakian guy called Wolfie who would come and whack on the roof of his tent every morning and say, wakey, wakey, hands off snakey, which is nice to have that camaraderie to get you through, frankly, the rubbish bits. So you're up, you've got all your kit on, admin's on. First thing you do, because you're going to be on the bike all day, delicate nature, you're not going to have time for a poo. So first job, head off to the toilets. Poo done. Because it's much better to do it here in the bivouac than try and do it at 130 kilometers an hour across the desert at lunchtime. Next job for Neil is get his admin sorted, get tent away. He's actually pretty good at getting all that into a routine, which is a really nice way of saving your brain power. Just do the same thing every morning. Don't think about it, just do it while your body's waking up. So it's a bit of military training that's really come into its own for Neil. So packing the tent away, which if you've ever tried to pack one of those self-assembling tents away, you'll know it's not the easiest job at the best of time. So as well as his Motul Dakar spares box with all his bike spares and tools and stuff in it, he's allowed the tent and a duffel bag with his, I don't know what you call it, sanitary wares. his hairbrush, no, he doesn't need one of them. His hair jet, no, he doesn't need them. Toothbrush, pants, that sort of thing. So he's going to pack all that away now. That has to go onto the truck, the Originals truck, because that's then going to get transported to the next stage, which, stepping aside from Neil's struggle for a minute, there's a truck that has to get everybody's kit packed onto it, and then it's got to beat the motorbikes to the bivouac for the next night, because it's got all of the Motul Original competitors' kit in it. which sometimes means that even if Neil's start time isn't till 6 a.m, the truck might need to leave at 4:30, 4 a.m. just to get there. So suddenly all the originals competitors have got to get out of bed 2-3 hours early just to put their kit on the truck, and then they're going to end up with no kit, sleeping next to their bike, waiting for their start time. So those little mental games come in when you start thinking, oh, why have we got to get up? This is pointless. That stuff, that's where they start breaking you down, and it is a challenging event in so many ways. I'm quite enjoying watching Neil struggle with this tent. This is very realistic. So with breakfast done, kit loaded, then it's time to get helmet on, kit on, grab your bike and head over to the exit of the bivouac, which is kind of like your first control for the day. At that point, he will get given his route for the day, which now is a code for the tablet, which is how the road books are delivered. And that gives him all of his instructions to head off and ride. One of the old road books kind of looks like this. This is what the digital road book has replaced. These rolls of paper you had to actually load into a manual holder, which was a bit of a faff first thing in the morning. This has got distances, descriptions, got the tulip note on there, which we'll cover kind of properly in another episode of this, but this gives you all the information of where you're going and what you're going to find along the way. Neil doesn't know what's coming until this point. And this is the point where he gets handed this road book, and now he'll get it loaded up on the digital tablet. And at this point he discovers, great, I've got over 120 miles of cold, likely boring road riding to get to the start of my race for the day. And they'll mess with you mentally. They'll get you to the brink of exhaustion and then put a really hard day in. Then when you're least expecting it, you'll think it's an easy day, and they've just had a really, really long liaison or a short liaison, but the special will be an absolute monster and really difficult. It's really, really mentally challenging game, as well as the obvious physical aspect. Welcome to Dakar. So Neil's now taken his road book. He's been through the exit of the bivouac, and the first part of his day, bearing in mind we're still 5:30, 6 a.m, he has now got hours to ride. It's 3 or 4 hours. He's got 200 kilometres. We're in South Wales near Swansea, so it's effectively riding from here to Birmingham on dual carriageways, on big A roads, on an uncomfortable, loud, vibraty competition motorcycle that's a 450 single. It's the bit that no one sees. It's not the bit that's on telly. You just see them turn up at the start of the stage, but these liaisons before and after the stage are brutal, and may or what break you both physically and mentally before you even get started.
So this is the bit that people don't see of Dakar. Honestly, some mornings we are on the road for so long, and it is cold, and you're only on a small bike. You're concerned about a few things, really. One, the roads in Saudi, the motorways just end, and there's been incidents in the past, like Daniel Sanders DNFing, breaking himself actually on the liaison whilst leading the Dakar. So you've got to stay alert. You've just got to keep your wits about you. And then there's the light. Obviously you have to start in the dark, so things are quite difficult to see sometimes on the motorway. Massive potholes, and you're just cruising along. I mean, you don't want to go too fast because you don't want the heat going through the mousses and the tyres. So really, there's so much to think about on something that's relatively simple. But yeah, this is the thing you really don't see. Miles and miles of boring roads, usually motorway. I'm sure Chris is going to allude to the distances, but yeah, from South Wales all the way to Birmingham on a 450 enduro bike, it's not fun.
So this is it. This is a timed special stage of Dakar. The one we're using as an example, 341 kilometres, so 200 miles. So let's say we rode Swansea to Birmingham this morning as the liaison. Now he's racing off-road from Birmingham to Newcastle. Look at that on a map, it's absolutely mental. On top of that, he's not just riding a marked route, he's on the road book. He's reading mileages, he's reading his trip meter, he's reading his compass heading. He's paying attention to things like speed limits. Believe it or not, parts of Dakar have speed limits. If they go through a village or a town, they drop them. You exceed the speed limit, it's on your GPS, you get a fine. Neil's actually used those speed limits in the past to make a position to get out of dust. paid the fine as the penalty, but gained that time out throughout the day. There's stuff like that that goes on all the way through. So not only have you got to ride fast and be fit and have endurance, you've got to focus mentally on so many different things all day. I don't think there's another motorcycle sport that comes close to this in terms of the breadth of abilities and skills you need. It's absolutely nuts. This is where Dakar's special, because Neil's here at the beginning of the stage with the best riders in the world. So Neil, the on-call firefighter from Abercrave, is stood there talking shit and chewing the fat with Toby Price, the multiple Dakar winner, factory professional rider. It'd be like going to your first track day, and while you're there in the morning, freezing cold and nervous, Danny Pedrosa bumping into you and going, "Oh, I'm nervous. Are you all right?" Yeah, it's freezing, isn't it? That just wouldn't happen, but that's how it is in Dakar. There's no ego. The camaraderie between the factory riders and the complete newbies is there throughout the motorcycle paddock, which is such an awesome thing. Rocky terrain, dried up riverbeds, sand dunes, you name it, the terrain will be in the Dakar. If the weather changes, there's mud, there's bogs, there's river crossings from here, Birmingham, to Newcastle. Imagine this, I can't get my head around it. I can't imagine going from Birmingham to Newcastle off-road navigating at that speed. I want to just leave you with one final little bit. The fastest riders average 120 kilometers per hour, 70 mile an hour, off-road racing while navigating. That's not achievable on British public roads. You can't average 70 mile an hour going up the M1. It just doesn't happen. You end up averaging 60 at best. That's what's mental about it. They are carrying so much speed. So this stage, an example, the fastest rider on this stage would finish it probably in just under 4 hours. Neil is a really quick rider. He came 36th the last time he did Dakar, which is incredible achievement. He would probably finish the stage 40 minutes later. The weakest riders, or the riders who have a bad day, or the riders who have a problem and a crash, they can take 7, 8 hours. That's a long time to be out on stage with our ride this morning and with the Liaison and all the bike repairs at the end. It beggars belief. Now, after what for Neil will be 4.5, 5 hours of racing, he gets to the finish. There's a little kind of time card control where he's got a few moments to kind of regroup, get off his bike and gather his thoughts. After a crazy day, that might involve a little bit more laying down than a normal day. But then he's basically on his own time. He's not got any constraints from now, except he's got to get the 200 kilometers back to the bivouac, service his bike, prep his bike for the next day, eat, sleep, ready to do it all again tomorrow. So if we go back to our original sort of distances, first Swansea to Birmingham, that was the morning Liaison. Now he's raced from Birmingham all the way up to Newcastle upon Tyne. We're in Newcastle now. He's just finished 4.5 hours of racing, and now he's got another 3-hour ride up to Edinburgh to finish his day's riding. Then the servicing starts, then the work starts, and then he can sleep. And this, let's not forget, is a day where everything's gone right. He hasn't had to fix anything, he hasn't had to stop to help any competitors, and he hasn't crashed. Dakar is brutal. Now we're back at the bivouac, back at the end of the day. So Neil's just come off the end of another 200 kilometer Liaison, so Edinburgh. So we started in Swansea, ended up in Edinburgh. That's the end of our day. Neil's been out on the bike for 10 to 12 hours, depending on the day. He's now back at the camp, and it's back into a routine to get things ready so he can then relax and sign off for the night, which won't be till nearly sort of 10 o'clock tonight. First thing he's got to do, get the bike on the stand. In the Motor Originals class, you'll come back in and you'll find your box of bike kit and spares, your little race number, and a stand to put the bike on. Now, it varies what he does every night, but general rule, as we covered in the last video, is an oil change, maybe an oil and filter, definitely an air filter, and also the tyres, which we talked about before. Sometimes it's a tyre, sometimes it's just a mousse change, sometimes it's neither because it's a marathon stage. But there's a lot of admin around that. So first of all, he's kit off, get his tent set up, get himself sorted out and ready for when he finishes working so he can just jump off, go to sleep. So we're now 10-ish o'clock at night. On a good day, that might be up to an hour earlier. On a bad day, that this bit might not happen at all. It might still be out in the desert. But last thing Neil does before he goes to sign off for the night is give a little bit back to all the people who've helped him. As a privateer, this doesn't happen on your own. This happens because of an army of friends, family, supporters, people who get behind you to help pay the way, to help with the logistics, help with the whole circus of getting to Dakar. And the last thing Neil does before he goes to bed on a Dakar is a WhatsApp message video to a group of all those supporters, just to give him a little bit of an update on what's gone on in the day, how he's feeling, how the bike's feeling, any problems he's had. Give him a bit of a direct link into the event, which is an awesome way to be a part of it. Following that, it's phone off, head down and try and get some sleep, some 17, 18 hours after he first crawled out of that tent this morning. This is one day of Dakar. He's got 13 grueling days of this. And if everything goes right, if everything works perfectly, it is hard, physical, emotional, and brutal. When things don't go right and you have to fight through adversity, when you have to stop and fix a fallen rider or call the helicopter for him, sort a problem on your bike, every little drama just adds to the mental stress on this event. It is unparalleled in terms of the physical and emotional and mental strain it puts on a rider. It is the most intense 2 weeks of your life, and it's exactly why people like Neil, people like Cy Pavey, people like Stefan Petter Hansel, they just keep coming back for more. It is unparalleled. It takes you to the very brink of desperation, exhaustion and despair, and if you can keep pushing through and make it to that finish line, you come out of that a changed person and forever addicted to that drug. Dakar is mental.